The homework for tonight is worksheet 6.2. The first section says to state the slope and y-intercept, and then we're going to write the equation of the line that's shown on the graph. So to find the slope of if we're given a graph, what we need to do, what we said is we're going to form a triangle with the points we're given and a third point, and then count the rise and the run. So the rise on this problem would be 1, 2, 3. So positive 3 since we're going up, and it's going to have a run of positive 1 since we're going to the right. Well, if we write slope, we're going to do so as a fraction to start off with, rise over run, so 3 over 1. And then if we can reduce it, then we'll reduce it. So 3 divided by 1 simplifies to just 3. The y-intercept is just the point on the graph where the line crosses the y-axis. So that would be this point right here. What are the coordinates of that point? The x value, or the x coordinate of the y-intercept, is always going to be 0 because we don't have to move to the left or the right at all. But our y-intercept is going to be positive 3. Then, once we know the slope and we know the y-intercept, we can write the equation of a line in the form y equals mx plus b. Well, in this case, we know that the slope is 3, so I'm going to take out m and write 3. We know that the y-intercept is 3, so I'm going to take out b and write the y-coordinate of the y-intercept, which is 3. So y equals 3x plus 3. So anytime we want to write the equation of a line, we need to know the slope of the line and the y-intercept of the line. So number 1, that would be the answer. Well, number 2 is the same thing. We need to find the slope first. So I'll just add a third point right here and then count up and over. So we know that since the line is slanting this way, that we're going to have a positive slope, and it would have a rise of 1, 2, 3, and it would have a run of 1, 2. So our slope on number 2 is going to be rise over run, so that's 3 over 2. So that can't be reduced, so we'll leave it as the fraction 3/2. The y-intercept is the point on the line where the line is crossing the y-axis. So the y-axis on this problem is tough to see, but it would be this point. It's a little clearer on your page, but this would be our y-intercept. So the coordinates of that y-intercept are going to be 0, -1, -2, -3. Once we know the slope and the y-intercept, we can put it in the same form that we did on the last equation. We want to say y equals mx. Well, our m is 3/2, so 3/2 x plus b. Well, our b is -3, so -3. So the equation of the line that passes through those points is 3/2 x minus 3. So that's what we do for numbers 1 through 12. Then if we look over to the right-hand side, it says part B. The directions here say that we're going to find the equation of the line that has the given slope and passes through the given point. So we're on these, on numbers 1 through 6 over here, we are given 6 equations, or we're given 6 pieces of information, and we want to write an equation of a line that has these characteristics, that has a slope of 2 and passes through 3, 2. Well, we said to write an equation of a line, we need to know the slope and the y-intercept. Well, in this case, we already know the slope, but we don't know the y-intercept. We know a point that it passes through, but we don't know the y-intercept. But what we can do is this. I can think of in the form y equals mx plus b. If we know an x and a y value and we know the slope, then we can find b, and this is what that would look like. We know that m is 2. We know that an x value that line passes through is 3, and at that x value of 3, the y value is going to be 2. So let's substitute these in place of x, y, and m in our form y equals mx plus b. So instead of y, we'll put in 2. Instead of m, we'll put in 2. Instead of x, we'll put in 3, and then plus b. So we can solve that equation now for b. Well, 2 times 3 is 6, so 2 equals 6 plus b. And then we'll subtract 6 from the right and subtract 6 from the left. The 6's give us 0, so what we're left with is -4 on the left and on the right we're left with b. So that tells us then that our slope on number 1 is 2, and our y-intercept is -4. So if we write that as an equation, what we would say is y equals 2x minus 4. Again, this is in the form y equals mx plus b. So our m in number 1 was 2, and our y-intercept was -4. So 2x minus 4. Then we'll look over here to the right and find y equals 2x minus 4, and it would be r. So we would follow the instructions of what it says to do with r. And the final section of the homework is part C on the bottom, and it says that we're going to write an equation of a line that passes through the two given points, then find the answer in the answer column. So we said for all of these are like numbers 5 and 6 that we looked at in class today, we have to know m and we have to know the y-intercept to be able to write a line in the form that we've talked about up to this point. Well, for number 1, we don't know what the slope is. On the last section we were given the slope. But what we can do, since we know we have two ordered pairs, is we can think of the first ordered pair as x1 and y1, and think of the second ordered pair as x2 and y2. So if we use the slope formula, y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1, then we can find the slope of a line that passes through those 2 points. So y sub 2 minus y sub 1, that's going to be 5 minus 1 over 9 minus 3. And then if we simplify that, we would get 4 on top and 6 on bottom, which would reduce down to 2/3. So the slope of a line that passes through those 2 points is going to be 2/3. Then the y-intercept. Well, if we want to find the y-intercept, we can do that just like we did on the last problem, because we know a couple of points that the line passes through, so we can use either the first ordered pair or the second ordered pair when we are considering how to find the y-intercept. So again, we're going to use the form y equals mx plus b, and we already know now what the slope is. We know that the slope is 2/3, so I'm going to put in 2/3 for m. And then we have a couple of points that the line passes through. So let's just use our first x value and our first y value and plug those in place of x and y to find out what b is. Well, our y value is 1, so we have 1 equals 2/3 times x, which x is 3, plus b, and then we can solve the equation for b. Again, our goal is to find out what m is, find out what our y-intercept is, so that we can write our equation. So we need to know what b is, which our y-intercept is b. So 2/3 times 3 is 2, so we have 1 equals 2 plus b. Subtract 2 from the right and subtract 2 from the left, which is going to give us -1 equals b. So our y-intercept then is going to be -1, or 0, -1. Once we get to that point, now we have enough information to write our equation. So just like in the other problems, we want to write our equation in the form y equals mx plus b. Our y is just going to stay y. Our x is just going to stay x. We're going to fill in the slope that we just found of 2/3. And the plus b, well, our b is -1, so we'll write that as -1. So then we'll look over to the right and find y equals 2/3 x minus 1, and that would be located right here for u, so we would do whatever it says to do with that letter. Alright, I hope this helps y'all.